Hi, my name is Hannah Duncan, and today I'm going to be talking about why I believe juveniles should be tried as an adult if they commit serious crimes. Juveniles being tried as an adult has been a topic debated for years. According to an American Bar article from April 2019, in the 1970s and 1980s, the media reports began highlighting an upward trend in violent crime rates, which in turn shifted the political emphasis to being tough on crime. As a result, sweeping reforms were passed in many states to make it easier to try juveniles in adult criminal courts, and more punitive juvenile justice laws were passed. Some agree that juveniles are just as educated as adults to know right from wrong, while others think kids are still kids and are still maturing and don't fully understand the consequences for their action. Juveniles should be tried as an adult if the crime they committed is a serious felony offense. If convicted, the juvenile should serve time in a juvenile facility until reaching legal adulthood and then be transferred to an adult facility to serve the remainder of their time. The current reader article, Kids Tried as an Adult, states, a number of states have laws that allow prosecutors to try adults for certain crimes. In 31 states, prosecutors can try kids under the age of 14 as adults in certain situations. 19 of those states have no minimum age for trying kids as adults. If there's abuse in a home and the abuse goes underaddressed, the child may report to drugs, self-harm, or criminal activity. Criminal activity may also occur when a child suffers from neglect. Neglected children and those who are exposed to abuse are more likely to be prosecuted for juvenile delinquency. You cannot punish children the same as adults, even for the same crime. It comes down to maturity. Children are all still physically, mentally, and emotionally developing, and then to treat them as fully developed adults is just wrong, especially in the case of sentencing, where a life sentence could destroy what little hope the child has left in their life. According to a UR article from February 2013, if a child under the age of 18 commits a serious crime, he or she should be tried as an adult. One of the more notable past cases in Kentucky of an example of a juvenile convicted as an adult was the case against Michael Carnell. Although originally charged as a juvenile for the December 1st, 1997 shooting at Heath High School in Paducah, he was later indicted as an adult. He pleaded guilty a year later and then was sentenced to life in prison. He was also required to receive mental health care while in prison. If Carnell had not been tried as an adult, he would have only been incarcerated for 4 years. To me, this would not have been ample justice for murder, attempted murder, and burglary. In an attempt to obtain additional insight, I asked a professional in the law enforcement field. Captain Barry Smith with the Davis County Sheriff's Department gave his input on the controversial topic. Additionally, I interviewed Sergeant Chester Frills. Major Barry Smith says if juveniles, meaning someone under the age of 18, commits a crime of a heinous nature such as murder or assault, they should be tried as an adult. Smith also states, once a juvenile reaches the age of 16 or 17 years old, they know the difference between right and wrong when it comes to these types of crimes. Major Smith also discussed the victims and the family of the victims of serious crimes, specifically victims of murder. They, the victim and the victim's families, need to see justice too. Justice is not being tried as a juvenile and getting slapped on the hand and being sent back into society so they can do the exact same crimes again. Sergeant Frills believes juveniles charged with serious felony crimes should be tried as an adult. Frills has worked with several cases where juveniles committed felony offenses, some of which caused serious property damage and personal injury, where the juvenile was not charged as an adult. When the juvenile was convicted of these crimes, they only served a small portion of the time they would have served if they were convicted as an adult. Some have gone to commit multiple felony offenses as adults. If they have been charged and subsequently guilty as an adult, they would have not had as much opportunity to commit additional offenses. Whether a juvenile should be tried as an adult will be a debate that will go on for years. Most victims of crimes will want the offender to be handed down the harshest sentence available, regardless of the offender's age. While family members and friends of the offender may continue to view the offender as just a child that does not have the mental capacity to understanding the ramifications of his or her actions, the judicial system should err on the side of the victim. The voice of the victim and the victim's family should be given in consideration whether a juvenile should be tried as an adult. Provided the legal criteria of a crime has been met based on the evidence, the prosecutor should assure they have provided the victim and the family of the victim the opportunity to be heard. Their opinion related to whether the offender should be tried as a juvenile or adult should be considered in making the determination of how the offender should be tried. If there is no such consideration, the victim and the family of the victim can feel victimized again, once by the offender and once by the legal system. Finally, if the inmate's sentence makes him or her eligible for parole, the parole board should make its determination based on the nature of the crime, the rehabilitation the inmate has undergone, and the likelihood the inmate will reoffend in determining if the inmate is reintegrated back into society. While a juvenile that commits a serious crime is tried as an adult, we give the totality of the legal system the opportunity to work. The victim and the victim's families are given the opportunity to fill the amount of time an offender is sentenced to just as a punishment. The inmate is removed from the society, which provides the community the opportunity to not be victimized by the offender again. In conclusion, I believe that if a juvenile commits a serious crime, he or she should be sentenced as an adult.